Okay, so I'm going to be explaining to you how fitness coaches that I work with are making 10K a day and more. And I'm going to explain to you how it happens, why it works, how it works, and what you can do to do it yourself. So most people think the secret to scaling a fitness coaching business is more content, more posts, more followers. It's not. The coaches generating five-figure daily revenue have cracked a different code entirely, and I'm going to explain what that is. Okay, so the content machine. Content is the engine that drives everything, but it's not the money maker itself. Think of content as a front door to your business. It's what brings people in, creates awareness, and establishes your authority in the fitness space. Every post you publish is a potential lead magnet, but only if you understand what it's actually designed to do. So, what fitness coaches post? Transformation stories before and after, workout tips, training advice, nutrition guidance and meal ideas, client testimonials and case studies, daily lifestyle, and behind the scenes. This is the general idea of content. So what is the real goal of content? The goal isn't like, shares, and follower count. Those are vanity metrics. The actual purpose of content is a high revenue fitness business to attract people who want to get in shape. People who are already motivated, already aware that they have a problem and already looking for a solution. When content is working correctly, it creates a steady stream of warm attention. The attention is raw material that a proper sales system converts into revenue. Content creates attention. Attention creates conversions, conversations. Conversations create sales calls, and sales calls create revenue. So we're going to go content, attention, conversations, sales calls, revenue. That's sort of the simple bread and butter of the situation. So every post creates a lead, creates leads. Here's something most fitness coaches completely overlook. Every single piece of content you publish creates engagement from real human beings who are interested in what you do. A like, comment, or a story view, these are not just social media metrics. These are basically buying signals. They are expressions of people who are interested in you. So likes, someone stopped scrolling and engaged with your content, they're interested enough to tap the button. Story views, someone chose to watch your story over dozens of others. They're paying attention to you specifically. Comments, even warmer than a like. A comment means someone took their time to write something or act on your CTA. DMs and inquiries, these are the hottest leads possible. Someone actually reached out to you because they need an immediate structured response, not a casual reply hours later. They need a fast, immediate response. Most coaches never follow up with any of these signals. They post content, they see the engagement and do nothing with it. That inaction is where the opportunity lives. Every engagement you don't follow up on is a potential client who will eventually find someone else who does follow up with them. The leads are already there. The question is whether you have a system to convert them. So the hidden growth engine. So the elite fitness businesses generating 10K, 25K, 50K per day all share one thing in common. They have trained appointment setters working their DMs and inquiries around the clock. This is the hidden growth engine that most coaches don't know exists or don't know how to build. A setter is not a virtual assistant. A setter is not a social media manager. A setter has one job and one job only. It's to start conversations with interested people and book them onto a sales call. Nothing more, nothing less. When you remove the burden of DMs from your plate and hand it over to a trained professional, you're free to do yourself. You're free yourself to do what only you can do, which is close the deals and deliver results for the clients. A setter's core responsibilities: start conversations, proactively reach out to everyone who engages with the content, likes, comments, story views, and inquiries. They reach out to all these people. The next thing that they do is build rapport. Have a genuine conversation, human conversation, that makes people feel understood and valued and not sold to. You're not just trying to get them on a call, you're trying to help them and understand them. To see if they qualify, which is the next point, you need to identify who is genuinely ready and able to invest in your coaching before you book a call. There's nothing worse than having a calendar full of unqualified leads. A trained setter knows how to get qualified leads on the calls and book sales calls. Get qualified prospects on the calendar at the time that works for them, ready to have a buying conversation. So what a setter does daily: a trained appointment setter operates at a volume and consistency that most coaches can never sustain on their own. The numbers speak for themselves. When you have a dedicated setter working your leads every day, the conversation volume compounds rapidly. Here's what a typical day looks like for a professional setter running a fitness account. So 100 to 200 conversations a day. A professional setter initiates and manages 100 to 200 new conversations every single day across all engagement touchpoints. 24-hour response window. Leads are contacted within minutes of engaging, not hours, not days. Speed to lead is one of the highest converting variables in sales. So you want to reply as fast as possible, is what I'm saying. 4 lead sources: likes, comments, story views, and direct inquiries, all converted into DM conversations through structured outreach sequences. So the daily workflow: likes to DMs. Every like on a post triggers a personalized outreach message. Comment to DMs, story viewer to DMs, inquiries to DMs. So anyone who acts on one of these things, likes, comments, stories, inquiries, they're going to get either a message from a setter or a message that is automated, and then after that automated message, they're going to get a human conversation, because a human conversation is the main point to find if they're qualified. The philosophy behind the volume: the goal is not to spam people. The goal is to start conversations with people who are already interested. Every person who engages with your content has raised their hand, even if it's just slightly. A setter's job is to meet them in the moment of interest and guide them through a natural conversation that leads to a sales call booking. At 100 to 200 conversations a day, even a modest conversion rate produces a significant number of booked calls. That's the math behind the 10K a day result. It's not magic, it's just running a system that works. Okay, so qualification: not everyone is a buyer. One of the most important skills a trained setter brings to the table is qualification. Not every person who engages with your content is ready to buy. Not every person who messages you is a good fit for your program. A setter who books unqualified prospects onto your calendar is worse than useless. It wastes your time, drains your energy, and lowers your close rate. A trained setter acts as a filter, ensuring that every call you take is with someone who is genuinely ready to move forward. So number 1, goals. What does this person actually want to achieve? Are their goals aligned with what you offer? A setter uncovers whether the prospect's desired outcomes match your coaching program. Number 2, pain points. What's frustrating them right now? What have they tried before that didn't work? Understanding the pain creates urgency and helps the prospect articulate why they need change. Number 3 is commitment level. Is the person serious about making a change, or are they just browsing? A setter assesses whether the prospect is emotionally ready to invest. Next is budget. Can the person realistically afford your program? A setter has honest conversations about investment early, so there are no surprises on the sales call. And number 5, readiness to change. Is now the right time for the person? A setter identifies whether the prospect is in a position to take action or whether they need more nurturing before the call makes sense for them. Only qualified leads move forward to the sales call. This single discipline is what separates high converting coaching businesses from those that struggle to close even when the calendar is full. Okay? Next, the sales call machine. Once a prospect has been qualified by the setter, they are booked into a sales call with the coach or with a salesman. This is where the revenue is generated, but it only works because every step before has been handled correctly. The setter has done the heavy lifting. They've started the conversation, built a rapport, identified the prospect situation, and confirmed they're a good fit. By the time the prospect gets on the call, they're already warm. They're interested, and they're already expecting to talk about how the program is going to help them. So how the numbers work. Here's a real world example of what a properly functioning sales call machine looks like. Let's say with a $2,000 program. So 10 sales calls a day, booked by the setter through consistent daily DM outreach, with a 50% close rate, a realistic close rate when every prospect has been qualified before the call. And that means 5 new clients a day. So 50% of 10 calls is 5 new clients. $2,000 times 5 clients is 10K in revenue. Okay, so most coaches have a high profit margin, so that's a good thing. So that means you're going to be close to 10K a day. So the system in action, this is not theoretical, this is the exact math behind the coaching businesses generating 5 figures a day. There's coaching businesses doing 6 figures a day, but we're just focusing on the 5 for now. The content brings in the attention. The setter converts attention into conversations and conversations into book calls. The coach closes the deal on the call. Each role is distinct. Each role is essential. When all three are working together as a system, the revenue compounds. The coach is no longer spending hours in DMs. They're focused entirely on closing and delivering results. So from the content to the setter, to the sales call, to the close, is 10K a day. Next, what happens at higher ticket? Here's where systems get truly powerful. The content doesn't change. The setter's daily volume doesn't change. The number of sales calls booked doesn't change. The only thing that changes is the price of your offer, and the revenue scales dramatically as a result. This is why most successful fitness coaches focus relentlessly on increasing their offer while keeping their conversion system consistent. So if you have a $2,000 offer at 10 calls a day, that's with a 50% close rate, that's 10K a day, 300K a month. It's entirely possible. Hundreds and thousands of coaches are doing these numbers. $5,000 offer, if you do 10 calls a day, 50%, that's 25K a day, 750K a month. If you have a $10,000 offer and you have 10 calls a day booked with qualified prospects at 50% close rate, that's 50K a day, which is 1.5 million a month. The content didn't change. The conversion system did. This is the critical insight. You don't need more followers. You don't need viral content. You need a bigger audience. The same content that was generating 10 qualified calls at $2,000 can generate you, 3 times that, 5 times that, 10 times that if you change your pricing and you change your positioning in your offer. What changes at high ticket is the quality of the qualification, the sophistication of the DM conversation, and the confidence of the setter in having money conversations. A trained setter who understands how to qualify for high ticket offers is worth their weight in gold. They ensure that every call you take is with someone who can and will invest at the level of your program demands. Okay? The problem most coaches face. Despite having great content, real results, and a genuine desire to help people, the vast majority of fitness coaches are nowhere near these numbers. The gap between where they are and where they want to be isn't a content problem, it's a conversation problem. Here's what's actually holding coaches back. So no setter. Most coaches are trying to do everything themselves, create content, respond to DMs, run coaching sessions, manage admin without a dedicated setter. The DMs go unanswered, leads go cold, all the leads and the likes and comments and everything go cold, and revenue sits uncollected. So they're just literally leaving money there. Slow follow-up. Speed to lead is the most critical variable in the sales conversation. A prospect who messages you and doesn't hear back within minutes will move on. Most coaches respond hours or days later, by which point the prospect has already been converted by your competitor. Losing leads to competitors. Every day a lead sits uncontacted. There's another coach out there who is responding to your lead. Your ideal clients are being converted by someone else's system, while your inbox fills up with just missed opportunities. No DM process. Even coaches who do not respond to DMs typically do so without a structured process. There's no qualification framework, no conversation flow, no system for moving prospects towards a booking. It's ad hoc and inconsistent, and it shows in the result. Revenue sitting in the inbox, as I've said 3 times already. Attention without follow-up is a wasted opportunity. Every like, comment, story view, and inquiry represents a potential client. Without a system to convert that attention, you are quite literally leaving money on the table every day. Okay, next. This is how Apex Setting, which is my business, helps. We don't just send you a setter and wish you luck. We build the entire revenue generating system for you, from sourcing and vetting elite setters to building the DM scripts and qualification frameworks to managing the performance and keeping your calendar full every single day. Here's how it looks. So number 1 is we source elite setters. So we tap into our network of proven appointment setters who already understand the fitness coaching space and have a track record of generating bookings. Hire the right setter. Okay, number 2 here. I was going down and going to the right. Interview hundreds of candidates. We vet extensively. Only the top performers who demonstrate the right communication skills, work ethic, and have the qualifications and skills. These are the people that we select. Number 3 is we hire the right setter. So we match you with the setter who fits your brand voice, your offer, your timing, and your target client profile, not a generic hire who needs months of ramp up time. And then we build a DM system that converts. We create the conversation frameworks, objection handling, and qualification scripts that your setter will use to turn this engagement of yours into booked calls. Then we train the setters weekly. So we have ongoing training, which ensures your setters stay sharp, adapt to what's working, and continuously improves their conversation rate over time. Then we manage performance every single day. So we don't set and forget. We monitor their conversation volume, their booking rates, how the conversations go, the show up rates every single day to ensure that the system is running at peak performance. And then we track the KPIs in the booking. So we have full transparency on every single metric. We have the conversations started, leads qualified, calls booked, calls shown, deals closed. You always know exactly what's happening because we show everything to you, and we keep calendars full. The end result, a consistent flow of qualified prospects, booking calls, so you can focus on closing and coaching instead of chasing leads in your DMs. So the result is more conversations, more sales calls, more clients, more revenue, all without you having to live in your DM. That's what a properly built appointment setting system delivers. It's the entire system. It's not just hiring a setter and putting them to work. It's sourcing them. It's interviewing hundreds of candidates to find who works the best. It's hiring the right setter to make sure they match your business. It's building a system, a DM system that converts with all of the frameworks involved and all of the technical backend involved. It's training them every single week to make sure they improve and they stay up to date and not just forgetting them. It's managing their performance every single day from morning till night, 7 days a week. It's making sure all the KPIs and the bookings and everything is presented to you so you know the kind of results you're getting, and it's keeping that calendar of yours full. This is why coaches come to us. This is why professionals come to us to deal with their appointment setting, because there's just so much damn work involved. If you want to take this upon yourself to do it, then you know how, because I've explained it to you. But if you do want help, our website is apexsetting.com. I'm going to show you it to you now. This is my website, Apex Setting. These are some of the clients, and we basically have health coaches, fitness coaches, all types of coaches, and we basically take them in. As I said, we do what we do on the presentation. We find the setters, we source them, we interview thousands of them, we find who's the best, we dedicate them to your business, we install them into your business, we create the DM infrastructure that books calls, and then we manage them every single day. We give them weekly training, and we make sure that they're producing calls every single day. If they can't produce calls, if they're unable to, then we replace them immediately, and you don't have to go through this cycle of hiring, firing, hiring, firing. So, that's everything for now. If you need help with scaling, if you need help with hiring an appointment setter, if you need help with building the system, because you understand it's more than just hiring a setter, if you need help with any of this stuff, then just get in touch. Links in the bio. Talk to you soon. Bye.